Somewhere out there, a creature that crossed 100 light-years of vacuum is holding a taco. It has crossed the interstellar medium. It has solved fusion, faster than light travel, and presumably its own version of parking. And now it is going to do the single most dangerous thing it has ever attempted: put an unfamiliar molecule in its face hole. Here's the thing though, that reaction? Almost certainly wrong. Not because aliens are tough. Because spicy isn't a flavor, your tongue isn't a taste organ in the way you think it is, and the entire question of what an alien would find delicious has a real testable answer that we can build out of biology we already have. So let's build it. And then, let's see if the taco survives. Strip away the poetry, and taste is a chemical assay. Your tongue is a wet analytical lab that runs a few thousand tests per second, and it only checks for a handful of things. 5 confirmed categories: sweet, salty, sour, bitter, umami. There's a 6th candidate, fat, that food scientists are still arguing about, which is a very funny thing to still be arguing about in the 2020s. But those 5 aren't arbitrary. Each one is a question about survival. Sweet asks, is this calories? Umami asks, is this protein? Salty asks, is this the electrolytes I need to keep my nerves firing? Sour asks, is this spoiled or unripe? And bitter asks, is this going to kill me? That last one is why you have roughly 25 different bitter receptors and only 1 sweet receptor. Sugar is sugar. Poison comes in a catalog. Evolution built you a smoke detector with 25 sensors and a candy detector with 1. Which means taste isn't a description of the world. It's a threat and fuel report, written in a language your ancestors' diet compiled for them. Hold on to that. It's the whole engine of this video. Before we leave the planet, I want to establish something. We don't actually need to go to space to find taste systems that are completely unrecognizable. A large catfish can carry something in the neighborhood of 175,000 taste buds, and they aren't in its mouth. They're across its entire body. Barbels, flanks, tail. A catfish is, functionally, a swimming tongue. It doesn't find food and then taste it. It swims into a flavor and then goes looking for the source. Octopuses went a different direction entirely. In 2020, researchers identified a family of receptors unique to cephalopods, sitting in the suckers of an octopus arm, a system for detecting chemicals that barely dissolve in water. The octopus isn't tasting the ocean, it's tasting surfaces, by touch, in the dark, with 8 limbs at once, each of which is doing its own chemistry without necessarily consulting the brain. Butterflies taste with their feet. A female drums a leaf until the plant's juices come up, reads the chemistry through her legs, and only then decides whether her children will live there. She is running a soil test with her shoes. So taste buds in the mouth, on a tongue, connected to one central brain, used for food you've already committed to eating? That's not the way to taste. That's one solution, and it's ours. And we assume it's universal because we've never had to compare notes with anyone. Now, the taco. Capsaicin, the molecule in chili, is not detected by any of your 5 taste receptors. Not one. It does not bind to sweet, salty, sour, bitter, or umami. What it binds to is TRPV1, a receptor whose actual job is detecting heat above roughly 43 degrees Celsius, and acid. It's a damage sensor. It's the thing that tells you the pan is hot. Capsaicin is a molecular skeleton key. It slots into that receptor and opens it without any heat present at all. And your brain, which has no way to audit the signal, reports the only thing that signal has ever meant: You are on fire. You are not on fire. Your mouth is not damaged. You are experiencing a false alarm. And roughly a third of the planet has decided this false alarm is the best part of dinner. Humans are the only species that has looked at a plant's chemical warning system and gone, "More of that, please," and a lime. Because it is a warning system. Chilies evolved capsaicin to stop mammals from eating them, since mammals grind seeds up with molars and destroy them. Birds swallow seeds whole and pass them intact. Free delivery service. So the plant needed a way to say no to mammals and yes to birds. It found one. Birds don't feel capsaicin. Their version of TRPV1 doesn't respond to it. And the difference between "this is agony" and "this is lunch" comes down to something startlingly small. Research has traced species sensitivity to capsaicin to a single amino acid in that receptor. One letter of one protein is the entire difference between a bird's dinner and your tears. The same trick runs in reverse with menthol, which hits tryptamate, your cold receptor, and makes peppermint feel cold when it is objectively room temperature. This entire family of receptors, the ones that let a plant hijack your thermostat, earned a Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 2021, which tells you how recently we figured out that spicy isn't a taste. Here's the part that lets us actually make predictions about aliens, instead of just guessing. Your cat cannot taste sweetness. At all. Not less than you. The receptor does not exist. Cats carry a broken copy of a gene called TAS1R2, missing 247 letters of code. Without those letters, the protein never forms, the receptor never assembles, and sugar is simply invisible. To a cat, ice cream is cold fat. That's it. That's the whole experience. Giant pandas have lost the umami receptor gene. A bear that gave up meat stopped paying rent on the meat detector. Dolphins are the extreme case. Sweet, gone. Umami, gone. And roughly 10 of their bitter receptor genes are broken too. Dolphins swallow fish whole. If you never chew, tasting is a service you're not using, so evolution canceled the subscription. That's the rule, and it's brutally simple. A species can only taste what its diet made it worth tasting. Everything else rots away. Taste isn't a window onto reality, it's a maintenance cost. And nothing in biology pays maintenance on a sense it doesn't use. Which means if you want to know what an alien tastes, you don't ask what it is. You ask what it eats, and what tried to kill it. Now we can do this properly. Start with the solvent. Every chemical reaction in you happens in water, but water isn't the only candidate. Astrobiologists take liquid ammonia and liquid hydrocarbons seriously as alternatives. And we don't have to imagine the second one, because Saturn's moon Titan has lakes of liquid methane and ethane on its surface right now. Change the solvent, and you change everything downstream. Water is an aggressive solvent. It dissolves things beautifully, but it also tears large organic molecules apart through hydrolysis. A creature built in liquid methane never faces that threat, but it also lives somewhere brutally cold, where chemistry crawls, and where the molecules worth detecting are a completely different list. So run our rule on it. Sweet? Only if its biology runs on something like sugars. Not guaranteed, but energy-dense fuel molecules are a universal problem, so some kind of fuel detector is a solid bet. Umami? This is the one I'd actually put money on. Amino acids are cosmically cheap. We find them in meteorites and in interstellar clouds. Detecting nitrogen-rich building blocks is a problem worth solving on any world. Umami might be the closest thing taste has to a universal. Bitter? Guaranteed. Not our bitter, but any organism in an ecosystem with things that don't want to be eaten will evolve a "do not swallow this" alarm. The catalog will be alien. The category is inevitable. Sour and salty, that depends entirely on whether its cells run on ion gradients and whether its solvent even has a pH. In liquid methane, sour may be a meaningless concept. And here's the reversal. To a methane-based organism, water is a corrosive solvent and oxygen is a violently reactive poison. Which, to be clear, it also is for us. We've just spent 2 billion years building the machinery to survive it. Our entire atmosphere would register to that creature the way chlorine gas registers to you. They wouldn't find our food disgusting. They'd find our planet disgusting. The food is a rounding error. So, the taco, the tortilla, starch, a long chain of sugars. If it doesn't run on carbohydrate chemistry, this is flavorless packing material, cardboard with ambitions. The meat, amino acids, our best candidate for a universal. This is the one component that might genuinely land. There is a real chance that the most alien thing in the room and the most human thing in the room agree that protein is worth noticing. The cheese. Cheese is controlled bacterial decay. We took milk, let microbes eat it, and called the result a delicacy. Every instinct in an alien threat detection system should be screaming. Honestly, every instinct in yours should be screaming. We just got used to it. The lime, pure acid, whether that's bright and refreshing or structural damage, depends on chemistry we can't guess. And the hot sauce. Nothing. Almost certainly nothing. Capsaicin doesn't work by being universally painful. It works by fitting one specific receptor, evolved on this planet, in one lineage, to solve one problem involving birds and seeds. It is a key cut for a lock that exists in mammals on Earth. An alien wouldn't have that lock, not out of toughness, out of irrelevance. Unless convergent evolution is real, heat damage is a universal problem, and any creature anywhere needs some kind of sensor that fires when its tissue is cooking. If that sensor happens to have a pocket that capsaicin fits into, then somewhere out there is a being who crossed 100 light years and got wrecked by a condiment. Which leaves us with the actually unsettling part. You will never taste a taco the way your cat can't taste ice cream, or the way a bird doesn't feel fire. Every meal you've ever eaten, you've been reading a translation, written by your ancestors' diet, edited by everything that ever tried to poison them, and delivered to you as if it were the truth. There's no version of you that gets the raw file. The alien doesn't have a better tongue than you. It has a different one, and neither of you is tasting the universe. You're both just tasting your own survival. If you want the follow-up, I've got one on why almost nothing out there would breathe what we breathe. And it's worse than this one.